verse we're doing? We got a lot of Bible verses we're doing today. Because I'm starting a new series. I hope everybody liked the series of When Life Gets Hard, Pray. Did you ever think about when we actually started that sermon series where we're actually meeting together here? And life really did get hard, didn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I was joking with one of my pastor friends. I started a series called When Life Gets Hard, Pray. I said, maybe I want the Cronin to be song.
No.
He says, no, maybe you're just...
But it was at a good time when we all needed it.
Yeah. He says, maybe you just getting this prepared. So I didn't think about that way either, but we completed that series, and amongst the seasons we're all dealing with right now, a lot of people have been asking one particular question. And it's kind of a cheat sheet. It's written for you beside me. Who are we? Who are we right now? A lot of things have been taken away from us, and we're trying to really define who our identity is right now amongst this time of craziness. Have you been asked that question? Of who you are? Even in your life, have you ever been asked, who are you? How many times have we answered the typical, I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I'm a pastor. Who are you is related to what you do for a living versus who you really, really are. And sometimes that question can be one of the hardest questions asked to somebody. I loved asking my kids that. I continue asking my kids that. Who are you? Too many times we let our friends and peers define the question of who we truly are. One of the biggest things I see within teens, the things that we've been watching, is all these popular kids think they're so popular, but deep and down inside of themselves, they don't know who they are because they lost track of that just to get popular.
Amen.
So the next few weeks, we're going to take a hard look at the question of who are we? And I think the biggest part of the thing is, I think truly we need to look before we can see who we are. If we call ourselves a Christian, a child of God, who's God? That's what I really want to start with this week, is looking at who God is so we help find out who we should be. I think the very first passage we're going to look at this morning is Genesis 1:26. Does anybody know what that is? It's one of the famous ones of Genesis.
Making man in the likeness of God.
Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have a dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over the earth, and every creepy thing that creeps on the earth. So at the very beginning of the book, the Bible, God's telling us what He's doing. He makes things. He's a maker. Did you ever think about that? It's the very thing it opens up the Bible with. Is God's making everything around us. He's inventive. Did you ever look at yourself and see that you're made just like God? I think it's what's so neat and so inspiring is we're creating so much things around us and making things just like God did. Have you looked around and see how much things you've actually influenced and made in your life like God has? You look at all of your faces. Somebody's made things covering our faces. Even though I didn't believe I had the best one. But I mean, we're making things more and more every day. God made us to be just like Him in His image. I did crafty thing yesterday, made planter boxes so my wife can do gardening because we want to do our own vegetables and stuff right now. I'm talking to the farmers who create all of our crops. When we think about that right now, is the things that are going on in the world today, we don't think about the farmer. You think the nurses and people working in grocery stores, but about the farmers? You know, they're worried right now that there's so many more people doing gardens right now. They're worried that they're going to have people to sell crops to come their harvest. Because everybody else is going out and making their own gardens right now. We're to create just like God. See, his project, his work began with the foundation of man as a physical being in the body form of God. And it will not end. And it will not end until mankind is a natural character of image of God. He created us to be just like him. So we don't think we're worthy enough as God's children to be like him. Stand in the front of a mirror and quote the passage back to him that we were made in his image. To accomplish these things, God gave us things such as free moral agency to enable choice, to follow him or not to follow him. But ultimately, he wants us in his image. God's not a moral in eternity. He wants us all to be with him. He's supreme in every quality of goodness, and in him, absolutely no evil dwells. No evil dwells in him. So we're made in his image. And Satan attacks us to say, hey, Satan, we're made in God's image. So therefore, no evil is allowed to be upon us. So take a hike.
Amen.
It floods every aspect of every attitude of God's life. Everything about him. God's character is holy, and it flows out of him in the acts of love, making it impossible for him to do any kind of evil. Is love overflowing us? Like it overflows with God? Imagine we're loving people. One of my favorite things my daughter gets mad at me about is she gets so mad at people. She says, I hate this person. She gets mad when I look at her and I say, does God hate you? She says, no, but I can't stand what they do. I said, does God cannot stand what you do? She says, I know, but I still allowed to be mad. I said, yeah, you're allowed to be mad. Get over it then. But that's what love is. Love is even loving our enemies. As much as hard as that can be. We can say, oh, it's all done away, or we do not need to do this. But we do. Love is an important part of who God's DNA is. How about Exodus 2020? Anybody know what Exodus 2020 is? It's one of the biggest things going on right now. Media blows this up to us every day, is put fear in us. They want us to be afraid of everything about life. All you do is change channels, and guarantee you just about every channel, every news network out there gets us feared. We're so fearful right now. Look at how we're living our lives because we're afraid to get a disease that's actually less popular than the flu, which is killing still more people than the Crohn's is. Crohn's is more deadly for older people or people that has preconditions. Exodus 20:20 says, and Moses said to the people, do not be feared. Fear of God has come to test, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. Do you ever think God had fear in his life? We're not going to look at that until I start researching that. God does have fear within him, in his character. He has fear that his children are going to walk away and not follow him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to fall into that sinful lifestyle. God fears for us as individuals. Because he wants every child to be wretched for him. God is so concerned about us fearing him because if we fear him, then we'll depart sin. God says it's okay to fear him. Because if we feared him and his punishment, then we're not going to have sin in our life. Would we? We're so afraid of God. We're going to definitely run from Satan. Because I tell you what, I used to have a Sunday school teacher. You know how Sunday school teachers can make a big impact in your life, either for the good or for the bad. Mm-hmm. I had one pastor, Sunday school teacher, he always said, I'd rather trick somebody into heaven than love them into hell. I'd rather trick you into heaven versus love you into hell. I don't know if I agree with that philosophy, but he tells people, he says, God loves you, but I want to tell you something about more. He says, I want to tell you about this place called hell. It's a place that you can be thrown in the fire for the rest of your life, and there you live forever. He's more concentrated about telling people about their eternal punishment instead about God's so love. He put the fear that God's going to punish them from an eternal place. But maybe that's what we should be telling people as well. It's a hard concept to grasp. But a lot of people, evangelists, are on that border. Is they either ever do love or they ever do hell. We need to find a way to do a combination of both. We've got to teach people about God's such love. But we're also going to tell people about there is a real place called hell. And make these things you see on The Simpsons or all these other TV shows that hell's some great big party place. And they're going to have lots of fun in this place called hell. We got to teach them the true meaning about hell. And there is real fear there of going there. Fear is an essential element of a godly character. Developing this virtual attitude will bring us an abundant blessing in our lives. And it's a very important part of the process of salvation. Because we must choose to either fear God in the face of a fleshly fear before us. So we either got to choose to fear God or fear hell. Truthfully, I'd rather fear hell versus God. I'd rather love God and fear hell. Because I don't want to be a place of a lake of fire. Read Revelations. Encourage you. How many people have picked up this Bible the more they have some more time to be spending at home and reading through these things in pages? It's a way we can learn who God's true character is through these times. How about Proverbs 22:1? Anybody know about that, Isabel? A good name is to be chosen, rather great riches, love, favors, rather than silver and gold. A good name is chosen rather than riches. God has one of the greatest names we could ever have over anything we could ever buy or ever have. I think what's so much about this time right now is we need to reevaluate of who we are and what we're spending on and what we're getting. God chose your name. God chose who you're going to be called over any riches or anything in the world. You have an important identity. It's one of the things I can't stand about this whole new movement is I was supposed to be a boy and born a girl, or I was a girl born to be a boy. God made us who we are and what we are to do for a reason. Okay. We're unique. Nobody else in the world has the same fingerprint as you, ever. When you think about the millions and millions upon trillions of people that ever walked this earth, nobody has the identical fingerprint as you. We're unique. in that way. People might have the same name as us. Did you ever Google your name to find out how many people have the same name as you? And I thought I had a unique name. And there were no other Joseph Michael Spires out there. And I thought like 6. And that's not counting my son. So there might be other people who have the same name, but nobody has the same fingerprint as me. That's what makes me unique. And God chose us to be that way. All members of God's church have inherit a family name. Far more valuable than any family name. Think about that. Once we became a child of God, we came up with the greatest name we could ever have. Even better than Sapphire, or Gant, or Rao, or Gardenauer, or Martin, or whatever your last name shall be. That name supremes more important than anything and brings us all together as one family. One. The reputation we create for our church, our businesses, our institution is a legacy we pass on to every brother, child, sister, and child. So whatever reputation that we create within these 4 walls, that's why I'm so glad we got back together this Sunday, because I didn't know how I was going to put that over social media, even though they're here with us. Whatever reputation we create here is going to be wide known throughout our communities. Do we care more about nickels and noses, or do we care more about the individual person? And I hope we create the culture here that we care more about the individual person versus nickel and noses. That's the reputation I'd love to have. It's one reputation that I've worked for. Before I became the pastor here, oh my goodness, 5 years ago, soon? Be 5 years in July that I started. Up to 2 years before that, I was ready to quit. I was ready to give up. There's something I couldn't figure out what was missing in churches. I thought it's funny if we used to have a program called through the ERC called E-Kindle Internship, where it took young people, like 18 to 25, and I was like over that like quite a few years. Now to teach them about church planning, and God said, "You need to try this." I said, "God, there's no way that 10 years past the age requirement." I said, "Do it." So I applied for this position, and God responded by, "You didn't accept it." And I remember the first day Chuck Frank took us to Mannheim and put us on the square and said, "Go talk to the people." I had a blast. It gave me a new sense of what we're really supposed to be as a church. And giving people a godly name, saying, "Hey, we're here and we're a church that cares about the people." That's what's missing. It's nice to say thank you to registered cashiers. It's nice that we talk to people. But I can't help think about a Ben Taylor that says, I think the reason he stays an atheist is because there's so many Christians out there that watches a burning fire and they do nothing about it. You know what that means? It says we're so compassionate about our faith, and we believe that hell is so real, we will sit and watch a person burn versus telling about the love of God. That's truth, isn't it? That's what a lot of atheists think about us. That we keep our faith inside of us. That we don't go out and give them the family name. And we'd rather watch them burn before they ever get into hell. That's a powerful statement from an atheist. But he made a very good point. Do you know an atheist knows more about what's between these covers than 90% of Christians probably do?
Yes.
They know our stuff better than we do. I'm taking a theology class right now, and I showed some of the council members my theology book's probably about as big as my Bible is.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them. But whose job is it for theology? Majority of us think it's the pastor that stands behind this microphone every Sunday. Theology is just not my job. It's you guys' job as well. Theology is something that we believe in God, and why do we believe in it? And we need to share that message, give people that family name. Even our enemies. What about Ecclesiastes 8:11 through 13? When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, the heart of the people are filled with screams to do wrong. Although a wicked man commits hundreds of murders and still lives a long time, I don't know that it will be better with God-fearing men who are a reverent before God. Yet, because the wicked do not fear God, it will not go well with him, and their day will not last like a shadow. Just because the penalty doesn't occur immediately doesn't mean it will not come. I think that's one of the things that at churches we have preached to people. It's okay to sin today. Just at some point in life, you need to accept Christ before you die. Have you heard that message preached many times? I have. It's okay. At some point in your life, you need to accept Christ before you die. What happens that sometimes today? Maybe that person's the last person you see before they pass away. Did you ever think about them? God's saying here that, there's going to be a point in your life that someday you will answer to what you've done in our lives. At some point, there's be a thing coming across our radar that we have to hold accountability to. One of the hardest things I have dealt with over these past 5 years is my nephew. I continue thinking what I could have done better to help him the way he went and took his life. Something I kind of live with regret from time to time. I could have done more. I should have done more. I should have said something more. We will be held accountable. Adam and Eve set aside the teaching of God because they became convinced that the penalty of death would not occur. That it would not occur. When they sinned and death did not occur immediately, they were even more convinced that it would not happen. But death did occur to them, didn't it? It's going to happen. Told Joy, said, there's one thing I just quite understand with God as much as like you can. He says, we have such a loving, compassionate God. He gives us chance after chance after chance after chance to love and serve Him. See, He has more compassion than any person that we could ever imagine times a million. But one day, that number will be called. Either by us or by Him. We get to choose. If God reacted immediately when we sinned, it would all be over in the very first time on it. Think your very first sin. It's probably happened when we were knee-high to grasshopper. That we didn't know Adam from not. We've been wiped off the face of the earth from your very first sin. God loves us so much and gives us so much chances. He has a forgiving heart. He forgives us time and time again. So do not be deceived. The penalty does come quicker than we ever think it will happen. Zephaniah 2:3 says, Seek the Lord, all you humble on the land. You who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps we will be sheltered from the day of the Lord's anger. See, meekness is rooted in God, and therefore we should pursue it as well. Because it's a quality of God's character, we must apply effort to make it a perfect character in ours. And although we may experience adversity, as the meek, we should still appreciate God's good and willing graces towards others as well. What about John 14:27? Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Go, and do not be afraid. Peace. He's a God of peace. God does not want to put anybody into that lake of fire. He wants to be peaceful. But he'll be a God that won't bring peace if we don't bring peace for him. There's times in life that are encouraging us that just rattles us beyond rattle. We get so offensive about people and things in life that we forget we're supposed to have a peaceful nature in us. And it's hard in adversity. It's hard during times when people are physically or mentally abusing you to have that peace inside of you. That God really does care about who we are. God is such a great, wonderful character. We could spend hours here today defining each of God's characters. Couldn't we? We've probably spent weeks and months and probably years truly defining who God is. The best part is, if we pick these Bibles up, blow the dust off of them, we can discover who God is. Because every passage from the front to the back is some way that shows who God truly is. And we're trying to find out who we are, and we're truly seeking to be a God's child. How can we be God's child if we don't know who God is? God doesn't just tell us to come here Sunday morning and that's it for the week. If that's all we're doing, we'll never grow in our faith and walk. I think about two people that I've had impression of them. And these two people's, their Bibles are so worn out, the pages are falling, they're duct taped in. I think of Betty. When I saw her Bible, it's just so breaking through and falling apart. One of the professors from Weinberger, Dr. Stats, actually duct taped, his whole thing is duct taped on the front. And it's falling apart, and it was like, why don't we get another Bible? Because I love this one so much. But the funny thing is, you ask him in Scripture, he can translate it in 3 languages. He doesn't even need a Bible. Literally, any verse, he can quote in 3 languages. But it takes years to be well educated like that. I wish I could do half the Bible as well as a lot of people can. But it takes work and dedication. We want to find out who we are as an individual. We must find out who we are in God's character. The next few weeks, we're going to really develop who we truly are. And maybe as we come on the outskirts of all this stuff, we'll have an understanding of a new life and a new creation of who we truly are. We no longer say, I'm just a mother or a grandmother or a father or grandfather or a teacher or a pastor. We can divide ourselves as, I am a child of
God.
Let's pray. God, we just thank you for being a loving and compassionate God. God, you have so many characters and so many things of who you truly are, God. It takes a lifetime to truly figure out who you are. God, as we go through the next few weeks, Lord God, help us to have a better understanding of who we truly are and what we are truly to do for you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.